like I say, a bunch of people are just going around going, you gotta support the people who supported you. You gotta do the keys of whatever. You gotta support the people that whatever, and you gotta pay back into the blah blah blah. And it's like, it's just this backwards like power thing where all these people, and it really goes all the way back to JFK or Jimmy Carter or someone, and they were just going around killing people and trying to do this fake support thing or whatever. And it goes back to a bunch of pirate action and some civilian submarines and stuff like that. And that's just basically what is your government, what is your congressman. So, and they're just pretending to have been playing the game and playing the game so well and been in power and blah, blah, blah. And it's all a lie. And really, it was more me. And it was more some Irish. And it was more some Germans. And it was more some Russians and more some Indians and more some other real people and some Mexicans that actually were supporting everything and doing everything. And more some exoskeletons and some 1.5s. And it has nothing to do with the American government or, well, I mean the fake American government, which is really the ussers. I mean, depending on which way you want to look at it, it's basically just all these people that are pretty much just acting crazy. And pretty much they just moved into the White House and did whatever. And like I said, and they started out with just getting into some tanks and shelling downtown Washington, D.C. for the fun of it and driving up and down the roads. So, like I said, I mean, it's basically just a bunch of insanity. Like I said, only lasted like 150 years, really, but caused like billions or millions of years of problems, and I had to go deal with it. Your civilization collapsed. And mostly because Nixon was going to blow up the whole world and didn't try and kill as many life forms in the universe as possible. Either because he had lived that long or he just didn't care. And it's just like, well, I dealt with it. I cleaned it up. And realistically, it wasn't all that hard to do. Anyway, but like I said, meanwhile, the Pope's like, we're closing the doors. In the name of the Christ compels you. In the name of the Christ cup compels you. In the name of the Christ cup compels you. And I'm like, in the name of the Irish nation and all the beautiful cannons for which the Irish built, compels you. In the name of the 250,000 exoskeleton worlds and planets and life forms, compels you. In the name of all the good soldiers and commandos and what's called and Navy SEALs and actual real protectors of this country and great builders of the world and the other planets and other stars, compels you. In the name of true scientists and true factual reporting, compels you. And I'm like, in the name of Lucifer Star, the actual creator of actual life forms and actually had a colony ship, compels you. So, it's why everyone was just like, Lucifer owns everything. It's like, well, more like I built everything. More like I created almost everything. More like I had a lot of really great people like the Irish, the best steel and butter and the hardest workers and most honest people I ever had. The Chinese, also another good group. The Britons or English people, also another good group. The Indians in India, also another good group. Very good with cloth and very hardworking. Thank you very much. And also the Mexicans, whatever, all these other groups that actually did things on this planet and other planets. So, compels you. For which we have photos, slides, reports, stained glass pictures of every project, and real facts, not just some stupid book that goes blah, 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 blah. And they weren't forgiving. Like I said, if an Irishman ever decides to just go do whatever, I mean, Irish should be rich. Ireland should be rich. Ireland, there's a lot of people in Ireland that should just be cruising around the world, and I think they did cruise around on the ships, and should just be like, there should be a lot of rich Irishmen. And if they're not, it's because, they're too honest and too good. Like I said, I love Ireland. I love Belfast. I love Germany. There's a lot of people I loved and love. So anyway, that's why. And Rodney and Rick Bush and was like, no one's gonna listen to him. No one's gonna blah blah. It's like the people of the earth don't really have to listen to me. Like those immigrants, those other people, they were my people, and the exoskeletons and all the other life forms in the universe that eventually figured me out. Those are the ones that were listening to me and blah blah. And it had nothing to do with the crazy psychopaths that are running around this planet pretending to be congressmen or whatever. And they dragged certain people screaming, kicking and screaming into the night. And mostly I just made these videos to make sure that my good Irishmen weren't dragged in kicking and screaming in the night, or like somebody like my Black Star Line black people. Like there were people, black people, that actually should be rich and actually did have things and actually did work hard for what they had. So I just didn't want them affected. To the rest of the people and the rest of whatever, it's like, oh well. You chose wrong. You chose to back the wrong Lord, trust me. You should have backed the one of 12 races and 12 life form types. You should have backed the true Lucifer Star. And if you backed JFK, John McCain, or one of those other, or some senator or whatever, you were just backing some piece of shit that was a rapist and a killer. And or if you backed Bill Gates, Zachary, whatever, you're just backing a piece of shit that was smearing himself with goat blood and running across some coals while on LSD in Guantanamo Bay. So you backed the wrong dude. And you know, when they come for you and they drag you kicking and screaming into the dark or in the night, or when you die and wake up someplace else for which there is no escape, I know what's it called, and there's nothing but an unthinking, unfeeling exoskeleton in front of you, you know, I don't know. I don't care. Just as long as it's not my Irish. If you backed Rodney Dean Briley or Rick Bush or Rick Bash or one of these other fuckheads, that was your own stupidity and you were digging your own grave, as they say. Oh well. If you backed some black Adolf Hitler, I mean, or one of the JFK clones, I mean, or hanging out with the JFK clone, or Jimmy Carter, you know, I wasn't too friendly or too happy about what was going on here. And yes, I may have acted really psychotically. And yes, I may have said, show them no mercy, don't care, torture the shit out of them. And so those people may end up being dragged kicking and screaming into the night. Probably will. I told my whole exoskeleton life form types, or at least a couple planets of exoskeletons life form types, to deal with the problem. So they were coming through dealing with the problem. So, you know, I just made these videos and made it known so my exoskeletons wouldn't be lied to, and so my 1.5s wouldn't be lied to, and so everyone can just know that, well, you know, the Irish, they were good, they worked for me, and that's another reason why we did the film, so everyone can know what, you know, the Irish were cool, they were great people. They're wonderful, wonderful people, and a kiss and hugs and snuggles and loves, and trust me, Ireland, I am your friend, I am your whatever, and I remember you, and I will always back you. I always have and always will. Just like the Germans, just like other people. You're my people. I haven't forgotten you. I will never forget you. So, and just like the black people, like possibly, what's his name, Garvey, you know, or the Black Star Line fleet, and all those black people who thought they were working for a purpose and thought blah blah blah, and even if they were misguided in some ways, like, you know, I took the fall for you. I accepted the blame on your behalf. I took the blame for a lot of people. Like I said, there's a lot of death, there's a lot of this, and I said no. They were just simply following my orders. I will take the blame. And me as creator, I can do that. And they sentenced me and blah blah, now I'm out. It's like, they could keep me forever. I'm your creator. Nobody could do that. And like I said, the 1.5s came here and the Excess guns came here and I guess cleaned up the mess. Oh well. There are a lot of good Americans, a lot of good other people who figured it out and were like, well, it's a fact. It's great. It's all right here. It's all in the photographs. It's all in the reports. It's all in the, what's called, 5 different countries, all over the place, all over the universe. And I'm just like, yeah, well, glad to be back. So, anyway, you know. Anyway, Rick Bush, Rodney thought that I would, that as Brian, once they got me as Brian or blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, actually, even there's a separation between when I was young Brian, or actually, originally, like I said, originally I started out as Little Lucifer and then I became young Brian. And then there is even a separation between young Brian and who I am now. And one of those separations, I very much became part of you and was reunited with you. Probably mostly because they were going to be tortured and killed if I didn't actually become part of you again. So, anyway, like I say, anyway, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe. You can think whatever you want to think. You know, usually we just use the wet fire hose on you. That was the approved procedure, was tear gas or wet fire hose. Unless you start shooting back, in which case then they have permission to open fire on you. Because when it comes to the innocent or the security guards or versus you, they're going to choose, yeah, I told my men to defend themselves. So, same as my exoskeletons. Some people are a better shot and shoot and see the gunman and basically don't shoot the whole crowd but just shoot the gunman. But I mean, hey, if it's my security people or you, I'm going to choose my security people every time. I'm sorry you got in the way between the gunman. Maybe don't stand between him and the police officer. Don't try and do the human shield thing and thinking, oh, they're never going to shoot. They're not going to shoot.